On a cold and quiet night deep in the mountains, Earth's largest space observatory stood under a sky full of stars. Inside the control room, only a few scientists were awake, sipping coffee and staring at screens filled with numbers. Most nights were boring with no activity from deep space, but tonight was different. A sudden beeping sound broke the silence. One of the scientists, Dr. Henry, looked up. His eyes widened. A strange signal had just appeared on the deep space scanner. It was weak, broken, and old, like it had been traveling for a long time. He adjusted the settings to clean the noise. As the signal became clearer, a cold chill ran down his spine. It was not a random signal. It was a message. A clear and desperate SOS. More scientists gathered around the screen. They listened as the message played on repeat. It wasn't in any known Earth language, but part of it had been translated by the computer. The alien voice was shaky and full of fear. The last few words were terrifying. "They are coming. We can't stop them. Earth, beware." The room filled with whispers and questions. Who were they? What happened to the ones who sent this message? Why did they warn Earth? The scientists were stunned. This was a message from a distant planet far beyond human reach. But someone, or something, had sent it, hoping someone on Earth would hear it. The next morning, military officers arrived at the observatory. The place was locked down, computers were taken, files were deleted. The government wanted everything hidden. "This signal is classified," they said. "Do not speak of it." But one young scientist, a 27-year-old named Alex Carter, wasn't ready to forget. He was smart, curious, and always hungry for the truth. Before the military deleted the signal, Alex secretly copied it onto a small flash drive. He didn't know why, but something deep inside told him this message was important and dangerous. That night, alone in his small apartment, Alex played the signal again. He slowed it down, zoomed in on the wave patterns, and studied every sound. The message was more than just a warning. It had layers, star maps, coordinates, fragments of alien speech. It wasn't just calling for help. It was showing where the danger came from. The star map pointed to a system known by scientists as Sigma 9, located nearly 12,000 light-years away. When Alex searched the records, he found something strange. A probe had passed near Sigma 9 years ago, but found nothing. Now it all made sense. That system wasn't empty, it was dead. Wiped clean. Alex's hands shook. What kind of force could destroy an entire star system? What kind of enemy could make an advanced alien race beg for help with their dying breath? He shared the signal with a few trusted friends, other young scientists who weren't afraid to ask dangerous questions. Together they began decoding the alien language. Each night they discovered more clues, and the more they learned, the worse it got. The aliens who sent the message had once lived in peace. But then, they came. The aliens called them by one word, a word that Alex translated as devourers. No shape, no mercy, no weakness. They moved from one system to another, destroying everything. Planets, moons, stars, civilizations. And now, the devourers were heading toward Earth. Alex tried to contact the government, but no one listened. They called him a liar, a kid playing with fake signals. But he knew the truth. He had proof, and he wasn't going to stay silent. He began to fear that this was just the beginning. Why else would the signal arrive now, after years of silence? Why would the aliens warn Earth in their final moment? Maybe the devourers had already seen Earth. Maybe they were already coming. Maybe time was running out. Outside his window, the night sky looked calm. But Alex knew better. Somewhere out, there in the deep cold of space, something was moving. Something powerful, something hungry. He didn't sleep that night. The words kept playing in his mind. They are coming. We can't stop them. Earth, beware. And in that moment, Alex made a choice. He would find the truth no matter what it cost. He would uncover the story behind the signal. Even if it meant risking everything, his job, his freedom, even his life. Because if the devourers were real, then Earth had only one hope: to be ready and the countdown had already begun. Alex Carter sat in his dark apartment, the screen glowing in front of him. The alien SOS signal played on repeat, filling the room with that broken, desperate voice. He had listened to it so many times now that he could almost hear the fear inside the words. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw that final message. "They are coming. We can't stop them. Earth, beware." He couldn't forget it. The military had erased the original files. The news didn't report anything. The world kept moving like nothing had happened. But Alex knew better. He had seen the truth, and now it lived inside his mind. He kept working on the signal every night. His friends, Maya, Jin, and Ravi, joined him. They were all smart young scientists, just like him. Maya was a language expert, Jin was a computer engineer, and Ravi had worked with deep space probes. They didn't trust the government either. Together they built a small lab inside an old warehouse. They brought their own laptops, old servers, and everything they needed to keep digging into the alien message. One evening, Maya discovered something new. Hidden deep inside the signal, buried under layers of static and noise, was a second message. It was short and harder to understand, but it was different from the first. It wasn't just fear. It was strategy. The second message showed images, not like video, but like mental pictures. First, a peaceful alien city with towers of silver, then black clouds falling from the sky, people running, fires, and then silence, a cold silence. The final image was a strange star map, marked with red points. Alex stared at it. It was a warning, a path, showing where the devourers had already been. One by one, each red point had turned black. Dead. Lost. He compared it to Earth's map. The devourers were moving in a straight line, and Earth was next. Jin ran some scans using a private satellite feed. He noticed something even stranger. One of the points on the alien map, a red one, not yet black, matched a system Earth's probes had visited only once, the Orion Drift. A dead zone with nothing but dust and rock, or so they thought. They decided to send a signal there. It was risky. If the devourers were nearby, they could notice. But if someone was still alive out there, maybe they would answer. Maybe not everyone was dead yet. While the others prepared the signal, Ravi ran a deep search in old data files from different observatories around the world. After hours of digging, he found something shocking. Earth had received small signals like this one before. Not as clear, not as strong, but similar patterns. The oldest one dated back 20 years. They realized something terrifying. This wasn't the first warning Earth had received. It was just the first one strong enough to hear. Alex sat quietly, thinking. What if the government already knows? He said. The others looked at him surprised. What if that's why they covered it up so fast? What if someone has seen the devourers before, maybe even made a deal? No one wanted to believe it, but the pieces were starting to fit. Earth's leaders had always been interested in space defense, even though no alien life had ever been confirmed. Why would they build weapons for something that didn't exist? Maya finally said what no one else wanted to say. Maybe they think they can stop them. Or maybe they think we can't. So they hide the truth to stop panic. Whatever the reason, one thing was clear. No help was coming. The team was alone. The next day, their signal bounced back from the Orion Drift. It came in fast, a single line of alien text and an image. The text said, "Still fighting. We hold for now. Prepare yourselves." The image was horrifying, a massive alien warship, half destroyed, floating in space. Behind it was a huge dark shape, almost like a living shadow, stretching across the stars. The devourers were real, and they were not just machines. They were alive, in some terrible, unnatural way. Alex and his friends stared at the screen in silence. This wasn't just a warning. It was a challenge, a call to arms. That night, Alex made a decision. If the leaders of Earth wouldn't act, he would. They all would. They began building a secure server hidden from the internet, to gather more data. They gave themselves a name: Project Beacon, a light in the darkness, a way to reach others who might know the truth, or be willing to fight. The clock was ticking. The devourers were coming. But now Earth had something they hadn't faced before: humans who refused to give up. Days passed, and Project Beacon grew stronger. Alex and his team worked day and night inside the dusty warehouse, hiding their work from the world. The alien message had changed their lives. They no longer saw the stars as peaceful lights. They now saw them as a battlefield. One Earth hadn't joined yet. One evening, Ravi received an alert. A deep space probe sent out by a private company years ago had suddenly reconnected. It had been thought lost, drifting near the ruins of the Sigma-9 system, the same place marked as dead in the alien star map. For some reason, the probe had turned back on. Its signal was weak, but it was still sending data. Everyone rushed to their monitors. The images came slowly. At first, nothing but blackness. Then, stars. Then, something else. Floating debris, broken metal, shattered towers. What looked like the remains of cities. Cities that once reached into the sky but were now torn, apart, drifting in silence. No life signs, no movement. Just ruins, scattered across space like ashes from a fire. Alex's heart sank. This was a home, he said quietly. A whole civilization. The probe moved further. In the distance, it picked up something massive. Not a planet, not a moon. A ship, or what was left of one. It was huge, maybe 10 kilometers across, its hull cracked and burned. Symbols along the side matched the alien message. It had to be the ship that sent the SOS. Suddenly, the camera flickered. Static filled the screen. Then, one final image appeared. It showed a dark shape rising behind the ship, a thing made of shadows. No clear form, just darkness like a hole in space itself. The probe tried to zoom in, but the feed cut out. The last thing it sent was a strange sound. Low, deep, and echoing, like a growl coming from the stars. The team sat in silence. The probe was gone. "This is real," Maya whispered. "Whatever that was. It's still there." Alex nodded. "And it knows we saw it." The image of the shadow creature burned into their minds. This was the enemy, the devourers. They were not machines or fleets of ships. They were something worse, something alive, something that consumed everything. Later that night, Alex checked the rest of the probe's data. There was something strange hidden in the files, not sent by the probe itself, but injected into the signal. A short burst of code like a fingerprint. Someone, or something, had placed it there just before the signal ended. Jin managed to crack the code. It revealed a new set of coordinates close to Earth's solar system. Too close. It led to a spot just outside Pluto's orbit, an area with no known planets or stations. They double-checked the location. It was empty. Or at least, it used to be. Without telling anyone, Alex used a rented satellite telescope to scan the location. What he saw made his blood run cold. There was a shape, just barely visible, almost like space itself had been bent. Not a ship, not a planet, a hole, a dark patch of nothing where light seemed to disappear. It wasn't moving. It was just waiting. He called the others over. "They're watching us," he said. "Right, now, from the edge of the system." The devourers were already here. The team panicked. "We have to warn someone," Ravi said. But Alex shook his head. "The government already knows. They'll cover it up again. We need more proof." Maya had another idea. "We need to wake people up. Not just leaders. Everyone." She suggested creating a secure online drop, a place where they could upload everything: the signal, the probe's images, the sound, the coordinates. If they made it public in the right way, people would listen. Maybe someone with power would take action, but it had to be done carefully. If the Devourers could track data, signals too much exposure could bring them faster. They decided to move slowly. First send pieces of the message to trusted scientists around the world, then release the rest. Every day mattered. Meanwhile, Jin worked on enhancing the probe's last image. After hours of editing, a small detail became clear. Something they hadn't seen before. There was writing on the side of the alien warship. Not an alien script, but something familiar. English. 2 words burned into the side of the hull. Last hope. Alex stared at it for a long time. Someone knew we would find this, he said. Someone, or something, wanted us to see. The Devourers had destroyed worlds, but someone had fought back, and they had left a clue, a message for Earth. Now it was up to Alex and his team to understand what it meant, and to prepare, because the shadows at the edge of the solar system were no longer silent. They were watching, waiting. 2 days passed. The team hardly slept. The image of the dark shape near Pluto haunted them. It didn't move. It didn't send a signal. But it was there, like a hunter hiding in the dark. Watching. Alex sat by the window of the warehouse, staring at the sky. He used to find comfort in the stars. Not anymore. Now, every shining dot reminded him of what had been lost. Sigma 9. The alien cities. The broken ship with the words, "Last hope." All gone. Burned by the Devourers. Inside the lab, Maya was speaking, quietly with Ravi and Jin. "We need to be sure it's not something natural, a black hole, a trick of the lens." Ravi shook his head. "We checked it 10 times. It's not natural. It's not even possible. It's something else. Something wrong. Light bends around it. Space doesn't behave normally near it." "Then, why hasn't it moved?" Maya asked. Jin answered softly. "Maybe it doesn't need to move." The thought sent a chill through them. That evening they got a message, but not from space. It was an email. No name, no subject. Just a single sentence and a file attachment. The message said, "You're not alone." Alex opened the file carefully, checking for viruses. Inside was a short video only 5 seconds long. It showed a blurry image of the same dark shape, but from a different angle, a closer one. It had been filmed from a military satellite. The timestamp showed it was from 3 months ago. The government had known. Alex's hands shook. Someone inside the system is watching us. Someone trying to help. They didn't know who sent the video, but it confirmed everything. The object, near Pluto, had been here longer than they thought. And now it was closer. Jin ran a scan. The object had moved, just slightly, in the last 12 hours. Not drifting, turning, as if it had noticed them. Later that night, Alex was alone in the lab, listening to the alien SOS again. He stared at the waveform, trying to find something new, something he missed. Then, he heard it, a sound buried deep beneath the signal, very faint, like a whisper. He boosted the volume, filtered out the noise, and played it again. It wasn't alien. It was English. Just 3 words. "We see you." Alex froze. The whisper wasn't part of the original message. It was something else. Something added after. Something that was never meant to be heard. He called the others. They played it again. The voice was cold, mechanical, inhuman, but it spoke English clearly. The Devourers were listening. "They've intercepted the signal," Maya said, her voice shaking. "They're talking to us." "No," Alex said. "They're warning us." The team realized something horrifying. By decoding the alien message, by sending signals out into space, they had drawn attention. They had been seen. The dark shape beyond Pluto had started to move. Over the next 24 hours, governments around the world began to act strangely. News reports spoke of space debris near the outer solar system and new asteroid defense drills. People didn't notice, but Alex and his team did. They weren't drills. They were preparations. The governments knew. They just weren't telling anyone the truth. At midnight, their servers were attacked. Firewalls failed. Files disappeared. Then the power went out. Alex and the team escaped just in time. As they ran into the night, black cars pulled up outside the warehouse. Men in suits entered with flashlights and guns. The team split up, using backup phones to meet later at a safe house. "This is bigger than we thought," Maya said. "They're trying to shut us down." "They're scared," Alex replied. "They think panic will break the world, so they're hiding the truth." Ravi pulled out a portable drive. "I backed up everything, the message, the images, the probe feed. We still have it all." Jin nodded. "Then we keep going. We find a way to tell the world." But time was running out. On a new satellite scan, the dark shape near Pluto was no longer still. It was moving. Slowly. Quietly. Straight. Toward Earth. No engines. No sound. Just movement. Like a shadow sliding across the sky. Alex stared at the screen. "It's not traveling through space," he said. "It's pulling space around it. Like it's bending gravity." "That's not a ship," Maya whispered. "It's something else, a weapon, a creature, or both." The team had seen enough. They couldn't stay hidden anymore. The world needed to know, even if it caused panic. Because panic was better than extinction. They began preparing to release the truth to the public. Every detail, every clue. They would risk everything. And far above them, past the cold rings of Saturn, the shadow kept coming. The sky looked peaceful. People walked in parks, stared at their phones, and drank coffee in busy streets. They didn't know. They couldn't see it. But just beyond Pluto's orbit, something impossible was moving toward Earth. Slow, silent, and terrifying. Alex and his team had run out of time. They had been hunted. Their lab was gone. Their equipment destroyed. But the truth still lived. Hidden on a small data drive in Ravi's pocket, now it had to be shared. The group sat inside an old train tunnel deep underground, using a backup laptop powered by a car battery. This was their last safe place. Above them, the world kept turning. But tonight everything would change. Alex opened the folder on the drive. It held the alien SOS, the probe images, the moving shadow, and the secret voice that whispered, "We see you." All of it. Real. Unedited. "We do this now," he said. All at once. They created a hidden website, a simple black page with the title, Last Hope Project. Maya uploaded the original SOS message with subtitles in every language. Ravi posted the probe footage. Jin added the voice clip. Alex wrote a short message at the top. "This is real. They are coming. Your leaders know, but they are afraid to tell you. We're not. Watch everything. Then decide what to do." They hit publish. For 10 minutes, nothing happened. Just silence. Then, the first views. Then 100. Then 1,000. Then the numbers exploded. Scientists, journalists, hackers, people around the world saw it. Some called it fake. Others screamed that it was proof. Live streams began. Podcasts talked about it all night. Conspiracy channels went wild. And then something unexpected happened. A top physicist from Europe confirmed the signal was real. A retired NASA engineer said he had seen part of the probe data before. A famous ex-general tweeted, "I warned them. They didn't listen." The internet shook. The world began to listen. By morning, major news channels had no choice. They couldn't ignore it anymore. The story hit headlines. Unknown object near Pluto. Government silence questioned. Debates started. Crowds formed outside space. Agency buildings demanding answers. And still, the object moved closer. In Washington, London, Beijing, meetings happened in secret. World leaders were angry, scared, and confused. The leak had worked. People knew. Now the governments had to respond. A press conference was announced. The world watched as a tired, serious-looking scientist stood before the cameras. He didn't smile. He said the signal was real. He said something had been seen beyond Pluto. He said it was moving. But he didn't say what it was. "We are observing an unusual gravitational object," he said carefully. "There is no need for public concern." The lie was too thin. People saw through it. Alex and his team were watching from the tunnel. Their hearts sank. "They still won't tell the truth," Maya said. "Even now." "They're trying to buy time," Jin muttered. "But for what?" Then, something even stranger happened. One of the largest communication satellites suddenly changed course. A private telescope caught the moment. It turned, not toward Earth, but toward the object. The Devourers had noticed. That night, the internet blacked out in several countries. News reports were censored. Phones stopped working. In some cities, it wasn't a power problem, it was control. Governments were trying to stop the spread, but it was too late. Backup copies of the files had been downloaded, shared, printed. People gathered in streets and squares. Some panicked, some prayed. Some started building strange devices, shields, radios, weapons, based on the alien message. Fear had awakened the world. The team knew it was a dangerous moment. When people are afraid, they do desperate things, but they also do great things, brave things, human things. That's when the second message came. It didn't come from space. It came from inside Earth's own satellite network. A strange signal, bouncing between stations, then down to an old radio telescope in India. The staff there were confused, then terrified. They forwarded it to every major observatory. Alex's team received it from a scientist friend. They played it. A voice. Spoke in broken English. Not human, but not threatening. "You have heard the cry. You are not blind. You are not silent. We hear you back. We remember Earth. We will try. We come." The screen showed symbols, coordinates, a time, another ship. Not the Devourers. Was coming. Help. Maybe. But it was far. Weeks away. And the Devourers would arrive sooner. Alex turned to his team. "We woke the world. Now we have to help it survive." Outside, sirens echoed in the night. Fighter jets crossed the sky. Something had entered the edge of the solar system. The shadow was almost here, and the countdown had begun. The wind howled like a wild animal across the frozen land. Snow whipped through the air, hiding the sky and turning the world into white. Silence. The van struggled up the icy path as Alex, Maya, Ravi, and Jin made their way across Antarctica. It had taken them 5 days to get here. Every mile had been harder than the last. But the message from the hidden station gave them no choice. If someone knew how to fight the Devourers, they had to find out. The coordinates led to a strange place. A metal hatch buried in a wall of ice half covered by snow. There were no buildings, no roads, no signs. Just emptiness. Jin brushed the snow off the hatch. An old keypad blinked with a red light. Maya tried entering the date from the video, 1982. The light turned green. The lock clicked. They stepped inside, closing the hatch behind them. The air was cold, dry, and still. A long staircase led downward into darkness. Emergency lights flickered on as they walked deeper underground. The walls were thick concrete, old but strong. They passed doors with warning signs. Restricted, no entry, Project Nightfall. At the bottom, they reached a lab. Dusty, silent, untouched for years. Computers with blinking lights, notebooks on tables, old coffee mugs frozen in time. It was like the people who worked here had left in a hurry and never returned. A recording played the moment they stepped into the main room. It was a voice. Familiar. "This is Dr. Lang from Project Nightfall. If you're hearing this, the Devourers have returned. We tried to stop them once, we failed. But we learned something important. They are not just destroyers, they are collectors." The team stood still as the recording continued. They consume everything. Light, energy, gravity. But they don't destroy randomly. They search for something. Something hidden in star systems. Something they need. The voice paused. We discovered traces of it in the Sigma-9 ruins. The same traces exist here, in Earth's system. That's why they're coming. Maya looked at Alex. What are they looking for? I don't know, he whispered. But it's here. They explored the lab, searching for more clues. In one room, they found a giant holographic map, Earth's solar system marked with strange energy points. One of them was right near the moon. Another was underground. Right where they were standing, Jin found a control panel and activated it. The floor rumbled. A hidden door opened at the back of the lab, revealing an elevator. The walls were covered in thick ice, but the machine still worked. The team stepped inside. The elevator took them down another level, this one far older. As the doors opened, they saw a chamber filled with strange machines and glowing crystals, nothing like Earth technology. In the center was a large black cube, floating silently above the ground. It's alien, Ravi whispered. But it's alive. Alex walked closer. He could feel it in his mind, a quiet hum, like a voice without words. The cube wasn't just a machine, it was a memory. He placed his hand on it. In an instant, the chamber around him disappeared. He was no longer in the frozen lab. He was standing in space, looking down at a burning planet. Ships exploded, cities crumbled, and the shadows came, huge crawling things that moved like liquid darkness. The Devourers. Then a voice spoke, not in English, not in any language he knew, but somehow he understood. We fell, but we sent the seed, the last hope. You are its guardians. Now, Alex gasped and pulled back. The others helped steady him. What did you see? Maya asked. It's a memory from the lost civilization, Alex said slowly. They placed these cubes on different worlds. A warning, a weapon, maybe both. Ravi looked at the cube. So, Earth has one. That's why they're coming. To take it or to destroy it. We need to protect it, Maya said, no matter what. Just then an alarm went off in the lab above. Motion detectors. Something or someone had entered the station. The team raced back up. The lights flickered. The front hatch had been forced open. Black snow blew in from the wind. Figures stepped into the hallway. Soldiers in black suits with no markings. Government? Maybe. But something felt wrong. Their movements were slow. Too slow. Like puppets. Alex and Maya hid behind a desk as Ravi whispered. Their eyes. The soldiers' eyes were empty. Not just calm. Empty. Like the Devourers had taken their minds. Jin whispered, They're not here to help. They're already infected, Maya said. They had to escape. But first they needed to protect the cube. Jin ran to the power panel and started a lockdown sequence. The chamber below would be sealed with a blast door. The cube safe inside, hidden again. Just as the soldiers reached the lab, the elevator door slammed shut. Alarms screamed. Lights went red. The team ran toward the emergency tunnel, bullets flying behind them. Ice cracked above. The station began to collapse. As they escaped into the blizzard outside, the lab sank into the ice, buried again. The cube was safe. For now. But the Devourers were closer than ever. The cold wind roared behind them as the team drove away from the frozen lab. They didn't speak. No one had words for what they had seen. The cube, the memories, the soldiers with empty eyes. It all pointed to one truth. The Devourers were not just near. They were already here, working quietly, secretly, inside the minds of men. Back in a safe zone far from Antarctica, Alex uploaded the last part of the data, video proof of the soldiers inside the lab, the cube's memory, and the alien voice that called humanity guardians. It was risky. He knew the governments would try to stop him again, but the world deserved to know. Time was running out. The internet exploded. Scientists confirmed the cube's strange energy was nothing from Earth. Journalists tracked the movements of secret military groups, and for the first time, major leaders, began to speak. Not lies, not calm words, but truth. The President of the United Nations Security Council stepped in front of cameras and said it clearly. We are not alone. A threat is approaching. We must unite, not as countries but as Earth. Panic and hope spread together. Some people ran, some prepared, others stood ready to fight. All across the planet something new began. Project Beacon 2, a global emergency alliance. Soldiers, scientists, engineers, and pilots, working together. Even enemy nations stopped fighting. No one cared about borders anymore. The only border that mattered now was Earth's orbit. Alex and his team were flown to a secret facility, hidden inside a mountain. This was where the world's top minds were building a defense, and not just with missiles or ships. With knowledge. Inside the base, they met Dr. Raina Han, a physicist who had studied dark matter for 20 years. The cube you found, she said, pointing to Alex, is not just a warning. It's a key. The energy inside it can bend space, maybe even slow down time. If we can unlock it, we can build a shield. Not just a physical wall, but a field to hide Earth. A cloaking device? Jin asked. Raina nodded. More like a mask. A fake signal to make Earth look dead. Cold. Empty. But can it stop the Devourers? Maya asked. Raina was silent. Then she said, it might delay them. But stopping them? No, not yet. They needed time. Time to understand the Devourers. Time to prepare for a fight they couldn't even imagine yet. Alex turned to the main screen. A satellite image filled the wall. The dark shape had passed Neptune. It was now between the orbits of Uranus and Saturn, still slow, still silent, but moving with purpose. Jin ran simulations. At this speed, they'll reach Earth in 45 days, Maya added. And if we're not ready, they'll tear the planet apart in minutes. Work began night and day. Massive dishes were aimed into space. New probes launched. One special probe carried a copy of the cube's signal, a message for the Devourers. We are not your prey, we remember. Some scientists warned that sending a message would make things worse. Others said silence was weakness. The probe launched. A week later, it was gone. No explosion, no debris, just gone. Swallowed. People watched the skies with fear. Strange lights appeared above cities. Some said they were natural. Others said it was the Devourers watching. And then the dreams began. Across the world, people reported the same nightmare. Standing alone in the dark, hearing a whisper that said, "You are seen." Even children woke screaming. Alex didn't sleep for days. When he finally did, he saw something terrible. A vision, not just a dream, of Earth breaking apart, oceans rising into space, and black shapes crawling over everything, eating light itself. He woke sweating. So did the others. It was a warning, or a promise. The team met with world leaders via secure satellite. Alex stood before them and said, "We have two choices. Run or resist. If we run, they'll follow. If we resist, we may lose. But at least, we'll make them remember humanity stood up." The leaders agreed. There would be no running. Earth would fight. Factories shifted to full-time defense production. Satellites were turned into sensors. Old space stations were repurposed as weapons. And deep underground, scientists worked to understand the cube's power. One question kept coming up. Why Earth? Why now? Maya found something in the ancient cube's signal. A repeating code, not alien. Human DNA. Specifically, human DNA markers inside the cube's energy field. Alex stared in shock. They came to Sigma-9 because of something in their biology. Now they're coming here. Because of us. We carry something, Maya said. Something they need. Or maybe, something they fear. If humans held the last spark of whatever the Devourers couldn't consume, maybe that was the real reason for the invasion. Maybe humanity wasn't just prey. Maybe Humanity was the cure,